everybody. Welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Sinead DeFries, and this is The Daily Show, where we bring you the latest news from the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us this morning is AMC Production Manager, Dennis Zen.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for another brand new episode of AMC Movie Talk. We were supposed to be joined by another person, Christian Harloff. He's not here, so it looks like the minorities are taking over for today.
Yes, also joining us is the writer for ScreenRant.com, David Griffin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me again. This is always fun being here, trying to feel a little bit more like home. It's always nice working alongside Dennis and doing this for AMC. Thanks for having me.
In an interview with Bloomberg News, screenwriter Aaron Sorkin talked about Christian Bale being cast as Steve Jobs in the upcoming film based on Walter Isaac's biography of the co-founder of Apple. Sorkin talked about how they needed an actor of Bale's talent level in order to pull the movie. He went on saying the following: "The role is an extremely difficult role. He has more words to say in this movie than most people have in 3 movies combined. There isn't a scene or frame that he's not in, and there's a tremendous amount of language. So it's an extremely difficult part, and he's gonna crush it." Dennis, is this confirmation of Christian Bale starring as Steve Jobs? And if so, what do you think about it?
This is pretty much confirmation. Yeah. When you're a screenwriter, especially of the caliber of Aaron Sorkin, says it on television, it's pretty much true. I mean, the studio hasn't released an official statement, but I'm pretty sure that's going to come soon. I'm happy about this because they released a short list, I think last week or the week before, of a bunch of actors that they were considering. They were all good actors, you know, actually fantastic actors like Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, and a few others that I liked, but I didn't like them for this role. And my first choice was Christian Bale, because he has the look, and I think he can play that kind of, I don't know, like between that visionary / cocky, arrogant, you know, self-important kind of person that Steve Jobs was. And that's the one thing I hope that doesn't happen with this movie, is that I don't want it to be sugar-coated. I hope that it covers the positive aspects of Steve Jobs and the negative aspects as well, and that we don't see a candy-coated, oh, everything's great version. What do you think?
I agree. I think Christian Bale's perfect because he has that dark side to him. I don't know about Leo. Leo's great, but he's always kind of like a little bit of the victim. He's kind of always the underappreciated guy. Bale, especially coming from American Psycho to Batman, he has that dark side, and I think Jobs was a little bit rough. I mean, he was a little bit of a jerk, you know? I mean, he was a brilliant, intelligent guy, but he also has that, he's kind of known as a hard guy to work with sometimes. So I think Christian Bale can bring that to the screen. It's weird, though, with Christian Bale, when you see him, it's like you wonder if he can blend into roles as much as he used to, because of how popular he is. You saw him in the Exodus, Gods and Kings trailer that Ridley Scott's doing. And when you first see him, he has a beard, and he's supposed to be Moses, but I'm like, oh, it's Batman playing Moses, you know? Even though I trust Christian Bale, he's such a good actor. But I wonder if he's going to be able to blend into this role as easily. I hope he can, because this could be a great performance for him.
Well, I think with the trailer, though, you're only seeing those glimpses. It's more like when the movie starts. I mean, I don't know if Exodus is going to be a good movie or not. As the movie goes on, you may feel that he's blended in, or maybe he hasn't. But Leonardo DiCaprio, he has a dark side. We saw it in this movie.
True. Yeah,
in
true,
this movie,
true.
Django Unchained.
Right.
I was more worried visually, his face. He's kind of a baby face, Leonardo DiCaprio. So I don't know if that really works with someone like Steve Jobs.
Well, that's what I mean, that intimidation factor. I don't know if Leo has that. Even in Wolf of Wall Street, there's times, especially towards the end of the film, where he gets pretty dark with his drugs and abuse and all that. He does get dark, but again, Christian Bale just has that look. You know, that menacing look that I don't think not every actor has. He can do that. Denzel can give you a look that does that too. And I think he'd be perfect for this.
All right, what's next?
In a story put out by The Hollywood Reporter about the upcoming superhero film slated for the next 6 years, it was revealed that Warner Brothers is looking for a female director for the 2017 Wonder Woman film starring Gal Gadot. All right, David, which female director do you think would be a good fit?
When I was first thinking about this, I thought about Catherine Bigelow. First off, she's great. Did The Hurt Locker, Academy Award winner. Can do action. But then I thought, I know this is AMC, we're talking about movies, but then looking at TV, I thought this director named Michelle MacLaren, who's worked on Game of Thrones, directed some of the best Breaking Bad episodes. Even back in the day, she worked on The X-Files. And she works in that kind of, geek genre. She knows about that. She's a very good director, very good visual. She can do action, some very tense scenes, and I think she would be great for that. She's probably the one I would go with, Michelle McLaren. I don't think a lot of people know about her unless you were, watching her on TV, but I think she's great. I think I'd go with Michelle McLaren.
Okay, I got 3 picks, and 2 of them are the same as yours. Catherine Bigelow, yes, she's an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
She knows how to do action and tension very well. I don't know if they can get someone of her caliber for this, because the DC universe is still kind of untested right now with just only one movie out and one, they do have that slate. I think most likely Michelle McLaren is a good fit because of what you said. She also directed episodes of The Walking Dead. And I think she can make that transition the way Alan Taylor did from, directing episodes of Game of Thrones, and then he ended up directing Thor: The Dark World. So I think Michelle McLaren. Now, my third pick, though, is one that I don't think is going to happen, and not many people know of her, Susanna White. Okay. She's a British female director. She directed episodes of Generation Kill, and I think she did 1 episode of Boardwalk Empire.
I had one more as well, and it's Jane Campion, who was known for piano back in '93, but she's also this great miniseries called Top of the Lake. That was just probably one of the best series last year. I think you can watch it on Netflix, and it's very visual, very visceral. It just has a great look to it. She doesn't do action. It's more kind of, everything's just underneath, but it's just, I think she would be a good choice too.
And she has a name to her.
Yeah, people know
name.
Jane Campion.
That's why, like Susanna White, I think she's great. I don't know if the studio would trust her with such a big project, especially that would be her biggest project, her first big budget. I think she did, what was that Nanny one with Frances McDormand, Nanny McPhee?
Oh, Nanny McPhee, yeah.
She did that. Not exactly a huge big budget action movie. So I think Michelle McLaren is probably the most likely one. All right, actually, no, we're going into buy or sell. So let's get into the buy or sell segment. Sinead, what do we got?
New posters and banners have been released for the upcoming The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. The images feature various characters with the tagline, The Defining Chapter. The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies comes to AMC theaters on December 19th. Dennis, buy or sell these images?
I'm gonna sell these just because they look, not that they're terrible or anything like that, but they look pretty similar to what we've seen through all the 2 Hobbit movies and the 3 Lord of the Rings movies. There's nothing really new here. You got the tagline, The Defining Chapter. I think it's a bit of a stretch. And then the whole Gandalf thing. There's the poster in the middle, but we also had some banners too where Gandalf's like lying, I think, looks like he's like knocked out or dead on the ground. But we've seen Lord of the Rings. We know he doesn't die, and we know that even when he does die, he comes back. So I don't think that presence of danger is really there when someone sees a poster and goes, oh man, I wonder if Gandalf is gonna die, so I'm gonna have to sell it. How about you?
I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. I don't think these movies needed to be a 3-movie trilogy. I'm happy they are. I still would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Guillermo del Toro would have directed these. But for the posters, I'm buying them because I love the one with Galadriel and Gandalf. There's 2 of them. There's one there where she's reaching out with her arm, and there's another one where she's kissing him on the forehead or something, like you said, as he's knocked out. Again, maybe the suspense isn't quite there, but I think I'm going to buy these. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings, it's The Hobbit. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch this December.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm really looking forward to the movie. I'm just not
the posters.
Like I said, they're not horrible, but they just don't get me excited for the movie. All right, what's next?
Ridley Scott's The Martian has added 2 new actors. Chiwetel Ejiofor and Sebastian Stan have joined the cast. They join an already impressive lineup including Matt Damon, Kristen Wiig, Kate Mara, Sean Bean, Michael Pena, Donald Glover, and Jeff Daniels. The movie is based on the best-selling book of the same name by Andy Weir. Production begins shooting next month and is slated to be released on November 25th, 2015. David, buy or sell this casting news for The Martian?
Definitely buying it. Starting off with Chiwetel Ejiofor. I've been a fan of his since Joss Whedon's Serenity movie. He was the villain. I didn't know who he was when I saw him, but I thought he was awesome. Last year, of course, he had the excellent performance. Maybe should have won an Oscar. He didn't. But for 12 Years a Slave, he was fantastic in that. He's a good actor. He can do his thing. Definitely buying that. Now, for Sebastian Stan, he's good as well. Of course, we know him more from Captain America. Just signed a big, movie deal with Marvel. He's going to be around for a long time. Maybe he may even become, Captain America in the future. Who knows where they're going to go with Bucky. But another good actor. I'm excited for both these. The story looks interesting too. about a guy who's stranded on Mars, separated from his team. And I was just reading the synopsis on the book, and it looks really interesting. I think this could be a good movie, and I'm glad Ridley Scott is going back to sci-fi. I just wish that he would do Prometheus 2 and Blade Runner 2 before that, but I mean, I'm glad that Ridley Scott's back in science fiction.
Well, you and me are one of the few people that actually liked Prometheus. I think me and Schmidt.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't like that. I'm buying it as well. Chiwetel Ejiofor, obviously Oscar-nominated actor. He's fantastic, adding him to the cast. Sebastian Stan, we know less about him. I mean, we've seen him as Bucky, but we need to see more. But a great addition. I also like it for this fact. When this news came out about Ridley Scott doing this movie based on the book, I haven't read the book. Right. So a lot of people assume like, oh, this kind of sounds like Gravity Part 2, except for set on Mars.
Yeah.
But it's not really. If you have all these cast members, I mean, obviously Matt Damon plays the lead character and he's kind of stranded.
Right. But there's a team. In
exactly.
the scenario, there's a team, yeah.
So there's going to be more than, it's not going to be like Gravity where Sandra Bullock is just by herself for most of the movie, which I like Gravity a lot. Right. I like that they're adding more to this. So there's going to be other stuff going on and other interactions. Maybe he's not with the team, but maybe he's coordinating with them, talking with them, other things. Maybe they're searching for him. So I like that for that reason.
And even, Gravity isn't a wholly original concept, in and of itself. I mean, don't forget, we've had, Castaway. Gravity is Castaway in space. I mean, watch Tom Hanks in Castaway. He's awesome in that. I mean, so Gravity isn't the first genre. And I hope every space movie that comes out from here on out, especially like Interstellar, is not going to, I mean, it's going to be compared to Gravity just because of the technical achievements that Alfonso Cuarón did. But I just hope that people give it room to do its own thing and realize Gravity, yeah, it was great, but it's not like it was the most original thing ever made. There have been other things like that, so I hope that it's not compared to that too hard. But I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I've been hearing more comparisons with Interstellar to Kubrick's 2001. Right. I think he even himself has made those comparisons, so I think hopefully it leans more towards that way. All right, before we get into mailbag, I want to play an interview clip that Amy Rose did with the actor Sam Rockwell for the upcoming movie Laggies. So here it is.
Now, Sam, you have been in some of my favorite indie films in the last decade, from Moon, The Way, Way Back, Seven Psychopaths. You've also done the big budget pictures as well. So what is it about the energy of an indie film that is just so great to be a part of?
Well, that's where the good scripts are, the good parts are a lot of times, and you kind of have to always go back to that, I think, because otherwise it's also done faster, and so you're in a kind of a cocoon, a creative cocoon, so to speak. It's you have to think on your feet. You lose in the light. There's not as much money, so you're forced to. You really do have to be creative, and I think there's something great about that pressure cooker,
And also, like you mentioned, getting to work with a unit that you've worked together. I feel like you can feel that in the picture. You can feel just that every person involved is passionate about it, and that's refreshing.
All right, Laggies opens next Friday in select AMC theaters. If you want to check out the rest of the interview that Amy Rose did with Sam Rockwell and the director Lynn Shelton, you can check out our new AMC YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/AMC Independent. And both Amy Rose and Alicia host a weekly show called Indie Spotlight that covers all the new independent films. So make sure you check out the channel and subscribe. Now, before we get into mailbag, I want to remind you that at the end of the show, we're going to be answering live Twitter questions. You can tweet us at AMC Movie News, but let's get into the mailbag first.
Carter Bagley writes, Dear AMC Movie Talk crew, I was just wondering, what are some of your guys' favorite ending scenes in movie history? Some of my favorites are The Perks of Being a Wallflower and Fight Club. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
Yeah, Fight Club is one of those great endings. I don't want to get into any spoiler stuff here, so it's going to be hard to talk too much about this. Movies that I liked that had great endings: Usual Suspects, Unforgiven, Inception, Memento, Sunshine, and Aronofsky's The Wrestler. What about you?
For me, I'm going to go with Godfather 2 is one of my favorites. Again, won't get into spoilers, but Michael Corleone, who's played by Al Pacino, is looking over Lake Tahoe, and the way that whole scene before that set up, it's just so much weight on just a look and an expression on his face that he captured so well. I don't know if Pacino's maybe given a better performance than he did in Godfather 2 since then, but he was great. Aliens, Sigourney Weaver, awesome action sequence from back in, what, 86, just great. Definitely Inception, I like Inception, the ending was great. Also, like you said, some other films I also agree with. I don't know, it's hard, I want to talk about it, but like you said, I don't want to spoil anything. Trying to think what else. Moon. Talk about Sam Rockwell. I saw that Sam Rockwell clip. Moon had a great ending too. Again, don't want to spoil it, but another great ending as well.
Yeah, and I feel like to have a great ending, it doesn't have to be a twist ending, because I know some of them do. I think the great endings are ones that the whole movie kind of builds the tension towards something, and then at the very end, whatever happens is a release for the character or the story, and it tells you something about what's going on.
Right.
So I think, I don't know, like, you've seen Unforgiven before, right?
Yes.
So so with Clint Eastwood's character, what's his name, Money? Mm-hmm. It's like he reverts back to who he was. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like you wanted to see that happen, and so I think. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good one.
There's some other one too. I know a lot of people on here, probably Guillermo del Toro fans, probably more recently with his Hellboy and Pacific Rim movies he has going. But also, if you haven't checked out Pan's Labyrinth, that's got a great ending as well. It's again, I won't spoil it, but very ambiguous. It's about this little girl named Ophelia who is trapped. It's like this magic realism story. She's trapped in this. Spain, during World War II, but then there's also this fantasy world that's going on. The endings kind of, those stories come together, and you have to kind of make up your own mind about what you want to believe is real, what you want to believe is fantasy, and that's, I think, one of the better endings. Maybe my favorite Guillermo del Toro film to date, too. I would recommend checking that one out. I
know a lot of people get upset at ambiguous endings. I don't. Yeah. I don't need everything to be spelled out for me. I think, like, the ending of Inception, it's ambiguous. Is it or isn't? I don't want to spoil it again.
Right, the whole theater after the ending, everybody just like went, oh, when that ending happened, it's just one of those things, but it leaves you going home thinking about it. Maybe going out having, lunch or dinner with somebody and having a conversation about the movie. Those are always the best films, the one that you talk about for a long period of time. Gone Girl is one of those kind of movies. Gone Girl is a great modern day, great ending. That one's still in the theaters. Check that one out.
Well, I like that ending because there was a lot of people that are upset after Gone Girl was over. Like, I remember when I saw it the second time, the people sitting next to me were like actually upset that it ended that way.
Right.
So for me, I thought it was a good ending for it. So, all right, what's next?
Kaylee Lee writes, "Hey AMC gang, love the show and watch daily. You recently took a question about film versus digital, but what do you think about Christopher Nolan releasing Interstellar early on traditional film over digital, especially given how studios and certain directors have been pushing theaters to make the expensive upgrade to digital for years?"
I know the subject has been talked about a lot lately on AMC Movie Talk. I haven't been here for those discussions. And also, this pertains particularly to Chris Nolan, and basically he's releasing Interstellar 2 days early on IMAX. He's a big proponent of film. He wants people to see it in film projection, because most theaters are now onto the digital projection. So I'm a big fan of Chris Nolan. I think he's a fantastic director, but there's two things with this. One, only a director of his kind of reputation and fan base can do something like this. Someone like him, or a James Cameron with what he did with 3D, Peter Jackson with the high frame rates, like doing something that's different and making the studios and the theaters kind of bend to what he wants to do, because it's not like something really easy to do, and there's a lot of logistics behind it, technical things that have to happen. So only someone of his standing can do that. And then second, he's fighting an uphill battle. I mean, most theaters have transitioned into digital projection, and so he's trying to inform the audience about, he's projecting this on film in IMAX, and he's trying to get the audience to kind of, I guess, stand up for film. The thing is 99% of the audience that's going to go see Interstellar early in IMAX is not going to come out saying, you know what, I'm glad they didn't digitally project that. That would have been a terrible movie if they had done that. Sorry, most people won't even notice and won't care. They're going to say, I mean, from what we've heard, it's a fantastic movie. They're going to care about everything else but that. What do you think?
I agree. I don't think anybody really really cares, the majority of the public. I mean, you and I care. I mean, you care more than maybe I do because of your, technical expertise and as a director yourself. Digital and film is this huge argument. Keanu Reeves did that great little documentary, Side by Side, where they discuss this. It's a tough subject, but I mean, in the end, digital is kind of, that's the step forward. I mean, film's only been, for argument's sake, let's say 100 years, right? I mean, for argument's sake, it's a different time, but it's just, film is not just going to be one way forever. I'm sure this digital push is going to change in the next 100 years. I mean, Tarantino, Nolan, these guys are brilliant directors. They make some of the best movies out there, but they're so just adamant about being on film and the grain and the look and the colors.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, film looks great.
Film looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if they want to do that, that's fine.
Right.
But I don't think that going to digital or directors or DPs that are shooting on digital, I don't think it takes anything away. I mean,
because even the old school guys are the DP that did Skyfall with Sam Mendes. Shot that
Roger
digital.
Deakins. Yeah, he's been doing digital for a while now.
Right.
He did Prisoners on the Ari Alexa,
Yep.
and he did Skyfall on the Ari Alexa.
We talked about Prometheus earlier. For those of you that are fans of the movie, Ridley Scott chose to start shooting on the Red which is a nice digital camera, because he saw some clips of David Fincher's Social Network, the Facebook movie. And he said, how'd you guys light all that? It's the scene when he's walking through Harvard in the beginning, and he said, did you guys do any extra lighting or anything? And they said, no, we just shot it with the camera. And he's like, oh, I want to use that for my next movie. So, I mean, you have him using digital. Scorsese is using digital, went for Hugo and all that. He's going. So even the old school guys that have been shooting on film for decades are going to digital. And I wish we could find like a happy medium. Everyone could just be happy.
Well, I think anyone can shoot on whatever they want, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, oh, you have to do this or you have to do that. Speaking of Ridley Scott, another reason he chose to move to digital was he saw that for his films that were like shot on film and then projected on film, that in theaters the color would vary in different theaters, and he saw that if properly calibrated with digital, he could get that same color palette every single time in the theaters as well. So I don't know. I think it's a subject matter that will be debated about for a lot for the near future. But I think I don't know, maybe like 10 years, maybe less.
Yeah.
We won't even be having this discussion anymore because it's just going to be all digital.
Right. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we are on to our live viewer question portion. Remember, you can tweet us at AMC Movie News. So, Sinead, what do we got?
Enrique Weissel asks, hey guys, is it me or did Marvel reveal that they're killing off Captain America in the trailer?
I don't know if they revealed they're killing him off. They showed the broken shield.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's rumors because we know the movie deals these guys have signed. We know Sebastian Stan has signed on for a long time,
like
at least
seven
more movies. We know that Chris Evans has said that he wants out eventually. He wants to direct, he wants to produce, he wants to create his own thing. So, I mean, I don't know. If we look at Marvel Comics right now, Falcon just became, I believe he now is Captain America. And I mean, Sebastian Stan, Bucky could become, there's a lot of different, anything could happen. We don't know. But I mean, who knows? I mean, they could get rid of Chris Evans eventually. I don't think it's going to be in this one, though. I don't think this one. I'm just guessing. I don't have any knowledge. I'm just guessing, but I don't think
I
so.
think he could go away. I don't think they're going to kill the Steve Rogers character.
Right.
I think, maybe he'll be... plus, he's such a big part of what we think is going to happen with Civil War. They would have to wait until after that. Maybe Chris Evans leaving, but I think Captain America is going to be there.
Right.
So.
I mean, don't forget the Avengers trailer when we saw... the Iron Man 3 trailer when there's that scene with like Tony's house falling on him and it looked like, they didn't kill Tony Stark. I mean, it's just trying to set up emotion and get us hyped for it, but who knows? I don't think they're going to kill Chris Evans, though.
All right, what's next?
Jonathan asks, with the launch of a shared Alien and Prometheus comic, if successful, could this influence the film franchise?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Ridley Scott, if he does a Prometheus 2, which, they have confirmed that, right?
They have confirmed it because Noomi Rapace just came out and said a few things about it, yeah.
I think whoever they get to do the screenplay, I think they'll do what they want to do, and Ridley Scott will have his influence and input. And maybe they will take stuff from the comic. They always do that. I mean, Marvel does that, DC does that. They take stuff from the comic books, but then they change them and bend them to what fits with their storyline.
Right, because Ridley's so weird about Prometheus. He would never come out in the beginning and say this is a straight alien prequel. He'd be like, well, not really. And like, you know, LV-426 was the planet they landed on. He like tweaked the name a little bit. So, yeah, I think Ridley Scott's doing his
Which
own thing
I
with
think
this.
hurt the box office.
I think it did too, because people, I remember when I'd go see the movie and the trailer would come, I'd hear people behind me say, what is this? Is this an alien? Is that alien? Like, what is that kind? No one knew what it was. So I think if they would have had a different title, the movie could have done better in the theaters.
I think not even just a different title, maybe like Aliens,
Right.
Prometheus or
Right,
something like
right.
that. Because I know, yeah, my friends asked me about that movie, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a
you can't
connected
tell it's
to
an alien,
and
right,
they had
yeah.
no clue
Right.
whatsoever. All right, what's next?
DJ asks, do you think they will ever reboot the Aragon movie franchise now that the books are complete?
I don't think so. It didn't do well financially.
It was expensive.
And it was an expensive movie. They had planned on making it a whole franchise, but no, I don't see it happening.
I really liked the books. I was hoping that was going to be a good franchise. I remember when I went to see it, I think I looked at the runtime of the movie, and it was really short for a big, you know, epic Lord of the Rings kind of story. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to be. It wasn't good. But the books are great. I'd recommend reading them.
All right, what's next?
At Max C Blog says, Russell Brand for Doctor Strange, outside chance with a lot of question marks?
Absolutely no chance. I've been hearing rumblings of Keanu Reeves, possibly.
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the top running. I don't see. I don't know. I like Russell Brand. He's a funny guy. You know, he's really talented, but I don't know. I just don't see him in that role. I don't think so.
All right, another question?
Alexander Burton says, hey guys, I love the show. I watch it every day. Who do you think will win at the box office this weekend?
This weekend, I've been reading reports that Ouija is going to win. I haven't seen it yet. If you watch the show, you know, like, horror is not my thing. I saw John Wick last night. That was fantastic. Me and John Campia did a spoilers review, which you can check out on our channel, I think right now. And we both really enjoyed ourselves. And I think I'm hoping that it does better than they're projecting, because right now I think they're projecting John Wick at like 4th or something like that. Yeah, but I think it deserves much better. So I'm hoping John Wick surprises us.
I agree. I would hope John Wick would do well. Ouija, I mean, they make these movies on purpose. I mean, they're inexpensive. They make a lot of money, and they're just these like horror movies that come out every. There's very few that are good. There might be one like The Conjuring, you know, like that was awesome. But there's very few of these movies that come out that are really good. I hope it's. I don't know. I'd like to see John Wick. I love Keanu Reeves. I want to see him do well. I want to see him get back in the spotlight, get some more work in the future. But I don't know.
Yeah, he works for roles like this. Like,
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
great.
Obviously a very ranged actor, but in a role like this, fits him very, very well. All right, what's next?
A couple tweets coming in about Snowpiercer. Michael Hill says, it was amazing. Do you think it has any Oscar potential?
Sorry, no. I really liked it. Actually, me and David had done a review on my channel about it, and we both enjoyed it, but no, it's not going to get any Oscar buzz at all.
No Oscar buzz, but definitely watch it. I mean, you got Chris Evans, Octavia Spencer, Jamie Bell, who's going to be in Fantastic Four coming up. I mean, go see this movie. It's great. It's on DVD and Blu-ray right now. You can check it out. It's just no one talked about it except for like critics who have seen it and loved it, but no one else has talked about it. So it's not going to get any Oscar buzz, but definitely see it.
All right, let's do 2 more.
All right, at Marvel DC News says, pick me please. When are we getting the official Captain America 3 title? The Russo said it should have been out by now.
I think with all this Avengers trailer leak and everything's moving towards Age of Ultron, I don't know. I don't think releasing the name right now would do much good. I think it'd be better to wait till the new year. And it's just the title. I don't get that excited about titles.
Right.
Just because usually they just are vague indications. I mean, when we got Avengers Age of Ultron, it's like, okay, but the Age of Ultron story they're telling is different than the actual comic book story, you know? So it gives hints at what it's going to be about, but not exactly.
Yeah, because they haven't done like a straight up comic book. You know, the adaptations are so lucid. I mean, you know, if you like, you know, you look at Christopher Nolan, he takes stuff from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, but it's not exactly Dark Knight Returns. This new movie kind of looks like it could be that, especially with Superman and Batman duking it out, but we're still not exactly sure. So the title doesn't give away much. It's another piece. They may wait for DC to make another announcement. It seems like they keep trying to one-up each other with these announcements. Maybe they'll wait. Maybe DC will announce something, and then Marvel will come up with something even bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. I mean, that like hinted towards the Justice League stuff like that, and yeah, you're right. Chris Nolan with the Dark Knight title. Yeah, that references Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, but really didn't have, you know, I mean, his influence is there, but I think this Batman v Superman is going to be a closer influence to Frank Miller's stuff. All right, the last one.
All right, Pete Compton asks, which members of the Suicide Squad do you think Warner Brothers will use?
Definitely for me, I want to see Harley Quinn. Go check out. There's a great DC animated movie that did Batman: Assault on Arkham, which is it sounds like a Batman movie, but it's actually a Suicide Squad movie. The TV show Arrow right now has Suicide Squad going on, so I think Harley Quinn's got to be one of them. She's my favorite. She's crazy. She's over the top. She's associated with the Joker. So, I mean, Harley Quinn for me, that's the one I want to see.
Same here. I mean, it's the one that most people know. And yeah, you're right, associated with Joker. I'm just interested how they're going to pull it off in the sense of no one knows most of these characters. I know it's like, you know, people are like, oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. But Guardians of the Galaxy was either the 9th or 10th Marvel film after they'd built up this universe, so they could kind of throw the dice. But I'm glad DC's willing to do it. Yeah. I'm glad they're doing it. I'm just hoping that it comes out pretty good. All right, guys, that's it for today's Friday edition of AMC Movie Talk. I'd like to thank the guy sitting at the table with me. David, where can people find you?
You can find me on screenrant.com. Type in David Griffin, find my authors page, mostly covering television. And I'm also at GriffinDE on Twitter. And you can also come find me at Think Hero.
And I'd like to thank our lovely host, Sinead. Where can people find you?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Sinead DeFries and at thatsosinead.com.
And you can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, and you can find me on Instagram, Dennis.tzeng. And make sure to subscribe to the AMC Theaters YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/AMC Theaters. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.